Hey, welcome to the podcast. This one might be a slightly lower key than previous weeks because Jenna's in the next room with a cold. Uh, so I don't really want to be screaming and shouting, but I probably will. But the meaning's there. You get it. I've had an interesting week. Lot to talk about. I don't know if anyone's followed me on Instagram. Saw the shit show of gigs that I did last week. Ugh. I really went into the dark heart of reform Britain. And tell you what, guys, I didn't like it. The dark asshole might be better. The sphincter of Britain. Oh my god. Oh my god. I went to a place called King's Lynn in Norfolk, which I've never been before. And if you Google it, like, it's a very nice kind of, it's like a seaside town. It looks like, some coast anyway. And you come out of the station, it's kind of 5 minutes, you're in the town, it's all cobbles. And here's, where King John had his last meal. They're big on that. They're big on, like, I think it was King John. Yeah, it was. They're like, this is where he stopped before. And then they're less big on telling you that during that meal, he got dysentery. That's, and then died. um, and that tracks with my experience. No, it was nice. Came out, like, walking around a lovely venue, nice old theatre, and walking outside it and met another, a comedian, um, Tim Fitzham. And Tim is a really interesting guy who one day, if I can ever get him in London, I'll put him in this because he's a guy who, like, years ago, I think this is right, like, basically decided that he hated that people described an English sense of humor. And he was like, he felt like it was just an easy thing to say and nobody really did. There was no real English sense of humor. um I would say, like, Panto and Taskmaster. But anyway, that's not what that was before. Tim was before Taskmaster. So he decided he was going to do something to show the wacky sense of humor, and he sealed the channel in a bathtub, which ended up getting, like, there was a sort of an international incident because the French didn't want this to become a thing, so they changed their maritime laws so that only a recognized vessel was allowed to sail into French waters, which then meant his bathtub had to be commissioned as a vessel, which was done by Queen Elizabeth. Very mad. Anyway, he did that and he ran the desert in a suit of armor, I believe. And so, point being, I'm like, this is going to be great. King's End. Meet Tim. Now he's renovating a theatre there. I was like, this is going to be wonderful time. Um, and then get into the theatre and the lights just look wrong. Like, they're very blue. In the audience, I mean, not on the stage. The stage was grand. And the people who ran the venue were very nice and everything. But the acts that were on, it was a strange enough lineup, I would say, for gigs out of London, but like a good lineup. This is not to fucking slag off anyone who's on the lineup. It was very good, but the people in the crowd were full. Oh my god, they were horrible. Like, people always ask you when you're a comedian, like, how do you deal with hecklers? And I always say, like, it's very rare that it happens. Like, it really is rare. But Jesus Christ, the average came up the other night. There's people shouting out, roaring, "Okay, grinder, blah." Horrible. And it got to the point where, like, before I went on, they were just, when the host went to go up, this table started chanting, "Oh no, not again, not again! Oh no, get off, get off!" And I was like, "Oh my god!" I turned around to the people running it and was like, "Here, where's your security?" So I'm like, "I'm not fucking dealing with these people. you know, they'd been, I would say, on the verge of racism with an earlier act where I was like, this feels like if he wasn't on his own in here, you know, it was wrong. And they were super homophobic. It was wrong. And they were like, and so the people in the venue, oh yeah, there's security. I don't know what they're doing really. And I was like, all right, great. Just so you know, if that guy just starts shouting at me, like, I'm gonna one get annoyed, and if they keep going, I'm just gonna leave because I'm like, I was also tight for the last train back. So I was like, the fucking worst thing would be if you get stuck in Kings Lynn. But as soon as I go on, like after a couple, late, not even after a couple minutes, like started shouting straight away, and I tried to ignore it, said something, nothing, kept going. Eventually, I got so annoyed, I just turned around and was like, "Why are you even here? Like, what are you doing here? Should you not be out painting roundabouts? You know, that's what you want to do. You want to go out and stop immigrants. And I'm sorry that one got through the net and I'm here now. But, like, there's a river out the back behind the theatre. Maybe you could go and try it in there. Like, go jump in, take your family, don't take any life preservers." And they got offended and stormed off. And I did my time. I did my agreed time and got out of there. And I was like, ugh, if I never see that place again. Then, a couple nights later, I'm gigging in a place called Camberley, which is on the way through Ascot. And it was, unbeknownst to me, Military Veterans Day at Ascot. And I mean, listen, I'm sure. How do I put this? Imagine the worst people in the world, and then imagine that they're all on your train. Oh, it was like just horrible. And they're all those guys. You know they're comics. They're always dressed like the Peaky Blinders. All of them. Anyway, it was grand. I was only on for a couple of stops. On the way back, though, I'm like, they'll all be gone now, so it'll be fine. Go through again. This group gets on at Ascot. 6 lads immediately start singing racist songs. Full on racist songs. Like, I was saying to one of the lads, I was like, they were singing about Asians, and that's not the word they used. You know, it was so grim. And I looked around and I'm like, God, the only people on the carriage was like me, a guy, an Asian guy with a headdress, and a black guy. And I was like, fuck me. Like, this is guaranteed to be a mobile phone video at some point, you know. and then one of the crowd goes like, whoa, hang on lads, hang on, I'm not having that. I'm not having us singing. No way, we're not singing them songs. We're not doing that. We're just not doing that. And I was like, fair play. Like, fair fucks to that guy. So it's not easy to stand up to your mates. Do you know what I mean? Like, to be like, I'm gonna be the voice of reason here. And they were big. The one who was singing the loudest was huge, like oafish giant. He's what you think he is. Whenever I've said that, that guy, the guy you've just pictured in your head, he's him. And I was like, wow, fair play. And then they all immediately started singing anti-Irish songs. And I was like, well, that's progress in a way. Oh, God. I put it on Facebook too, and a guy, I just put that thing on Facebook. I rarely post in there. And this is why. Because a guy replied, and he was like, we Irish are well used to that. And, you know, sometimes they might get a slap or whatever. And I looked, and this guy lives in Dublin. And I'm like, yeah, of course you fucking mouth off there. Like, yeah. Oh, yeah, we Irish know what that's like. Yeah, do you? Fucking in your nice house. Anyway, in Dublin. Fuck's sake. Whatever. That was my week. But I've had a good one otherwise. I met a friend of mine, Barry Ferns, yesterday. And Barry is the guy, one of the people, I'll have him on here, 100%. Barry runs Angel Comedy Club in London. The Bill Murray's one of the best comedy clubs in the world, I think. Like, everybody is goes there to work out and do their stuff, and like Kevin Bridges there loads to work out new material, and Eddie Izzard, Susie Izzard now like works out stuff there, and just the biggest comics. I've talked about it on here before. What am I talking about? I lived above it for a few months, but chat to Barry. Barry started this YouTube channel called Barry's Economics, and it's got massive. It's really cool. So he's like kind of based on your man Gary's Economics. Is it Gary Sullivan, the guy, the former trader, wrote the trading game? Anyway, that guy. And Barry starts this like sort of not really a piss take, but he's like got a sort of different take on things with money, and he's went bankrupt and stuff, so he wanted to talk about that. And anyway, so I was like, oh, that's class. I had no idea he was doing it. I went to watch one of the videos, and he just happened that he was doing a video about Guy Stevenson is the guy's name, not Sullivan. About Gary Stevenson being a guest on The Rest is Politics, which everybody who has listened to any episodes of this before will know those guys really annoy me. The Rest is Politics guys, because I'm like, as look, I say it all the time, I'm good. Listen, good. I'm glad there's people talking sense. They absolutely do talk sense on it. I just wish it came with a warning that said, Rory Stewart and what's the other guy's name? Fucking Malcolm Tucker guy. Alistair Campbell. Rory Stewart and Alistair Campbell, between them, are responsible for both austerity and an invasion in the Middle East. So they're responsible for the deaths of millions of people. Anyway, enjoy your centrist nonsense. That's what I feel like it should be on. So anyway, these guys come on. And this is why, right? So Barry was doing like a breakdown of this and about how they react. And here's the thing that fucked me off so massively. This is Rory Stewart, right? So Gary Stevenson's has a point about like wealthy people who can afford to not be right about stuff, and it doesn't really matter to these guys who are banking or teaching or whatever if they're wrong about a theory, because it doesn't really affect them because they're loaded anyway. And Roy Stewart was like, he was like, oh well, I think you're letting your class anger cloud your rational arguments here, and you're so it's your class anger that is, you're not seeing this in the round, that's the real problem. And I fucking almost threw my laptop across the room. Like, that's what I hate about these guys, right, is that they think anger is unrational. Is that even a word? They think it's not, like, that it's never the right thing. I'm like, you should be fucking angry. Like, we've had 20 plus years of terrible governance here. The welfare state's being completely eroded. People are on their knees. The government's just getting more and more behind these right-wing hate groups to the point where you can't get in a train without people singing racist songs. Like, I think it's okay to be angry about that, you upper-class twit. So that's why I don't like them. I just hate it, and they all guffaw, and like Alistair Campbell's like, oh, yeah, in the background. That laugh, man. That laugh. I see today they do like PMQs, that Prime Minister's questions then, and where two people who haven't got a moral core between them just jibe back at each other. Oh well, the minister would suggest blah 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 blah. I'm like, it's fucking no wonder we're underneath. Anyway, I'm not gonna keep on about it. We're not the only ones. Fuck France. France is in a, as Jurgen Klopp would say, is in a tough moment. This at the minute. The French news has been class because Nicolas Sarkozy's gone to prison. And I was like, this feels crazy. He's gone to prison because he was found guilty of trying to get money from Colonel Gaddafi to fund his election campaign in 2007. And you're like, what? Like, is there no low these guys won't stoop to for that? Do you know what I mean? Nicolas Sarkozy and the Provos, both in Gaddafi, I just don't get it. And this is a classic posh boy reaction to it. So he did an interview because he obviously is saying, like, I'm an innocent man, I've been unjustly prosecuted, and it's a political blah 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 blah. Meanwhile, he was at dinner with the president last week, still, before he goes anywhere. But he says he goes he's taking 2 books into prison with him, right? He's taken The Count of Monte Cristo and, quote, the biography of Jesus Christ. Now, The Count of Monte Cristo, he's like making a point there. You know, he's like a jibe little, yes, an innocent man who's sent to prison, and then he escapes with the help of Anthony Hopkins, I think. If I remember the movie properly, and goes on a revenge tour, and he's like, that'll be me, I'll escape with Anthony Hopkins. And but the other one where he was like, the biography of Jesus Christ, is that not just the Bible? Like, is that not what that is? The Bible is the biography of Jesus Christ, I think, and other stuff obviously as well, but like, I'm fairly sure the New Testament would have covered there. But saying you're going to read the biography is like, what, the Idiot's Guide? This weird Christian thing that's happening at the minute, I find it so strange. This like, oh yeah, geez, South Park did a class episode. I don't know if you've seen it. The last episode of South Park where Jesus isn't Christian enough because he's not a psycho. So good. And then they had the Louvre thing. That was the other thing in France. Oh, I love robberies. Who doesn't love when stuff gets robbed? I am out of my mind. When a big institution gets robbed, it's always class. I can't wait for the movie already. These guys drive a cherry picker up to the Louvre at 9:30 in the morning and don't get caught. 4 minutes, smash a window, get through into the gallery, the Apollo Gallery, is it it's called? Where there is no cameras pointing at the window. Because apparently only 1/3 of the Louvre is covered by CCTV, which is insane. Come on. They're like, yeah, nobody will break in. We don't need single glazed windows and no alarm should be fine. These lads, what I loved was like an account. It was like the security guards in the gallery saw the guys coming and immediately ran. I was like, how French. Yes, let's think about the French here. No, but I would have also ran because, like, what are you gonna do? And then they cut out the crown jewels with angle grinders. Here's where it gets sad if you're the robbers, because so they get the crown jewels, but they drop the crown. You know, like they drop the big showpiece, which is the only reason you rob that. You know, if you're robbing the crown jewels, it's because you want a photo of yourself wearing the crown at a jaunty angle. With your leg like draped over the side of a chair. But they dropped it. They were gone 4 minutes. They were gone on scooters like they just robbed an iPhone from a pub outside Shoreditch. And there'd be, people are going to be held to the fire now. Unbelievable. We can't believe this has went on. No. Meanwhile, it'll definitely happen again. Because like if you're another museum now, you obviously look at that and go, maybe we get double glazed windows. Maybe we get an alarm of some sort of guards that are actually paid properly, because this is priceless stuff. That's what I loved. Was like, it came out, it was like priceless crown jewels valued at 88 million quid. I was like, all right, I know what you're trying to say, but they're not priceless then, are they? Like, if you can put a number on it, then it's not priceless. I really wasn't getting caught up in pedantry here, but come on, if we're going to use the language, let's do it properly. What else has been happening? Oh, I've loved the Andrew Schultz, who's an American comedian, went on Joe Rogan, and they both had Trump on during his election campaigns, and he there's a backlash now because it turned out that Donald Trump is doing the stuff that he said he was going to do, and they never knew that. Oh my God! Like Andrew Schultz had him on, and then I think went to a rally or went to like his inauguration or something, and he's on Joe Rogan crying about it, about like the backlash because he was like, we've politicized ourselves, yeah, on the nose there. And this where I was like, oh my God, these fucking people. Like, he goes, we've politicized ourselves. And the problem is that some people think politics is life or death. Like, they think it's all life. And I'm like, yeah, you fucking idiot. This is the problem. Because you're a fucking millionaire with Donald Trump's phone number in your phone contact list. And of course you don't think it's life or death. You buffoon. Oh, they think it's life or death. Yeah. People are getting kidnapped by ICE and thrown, deported after being disappeared from their families. That's life or death. You fucking maniac. And Rogan's like, yeah, well, these people are always like that, man. They just can't take being wrong, you know? Oh. One of the reasons I started this podcast was because I love listening to Mark Maron's, and I love and Bill Burr before, you know, it's really sad when someone's such a hypocrite. Anyway, but I was like, that, you know, this is good. This is like, it'll generate ideas for me and everything. But I love the Mark Maron one, and when he was talking, you know, he was talking about those guys a lot, and it's really annoyed them. You should watch The Elephant Graveyard on YouTube, if you don't already. It's very good. It's very good. Outside of that, like, not much happening. I'm about to go and meet a couple of friends for dinner. One good friend and his wife I've not met, and Khaled Winter. Khaled, who had a podcast that I was on and talked about Roger Casement. So if you Google Khaled Winter, you'll find that. Khaled's a really interesting guy. He's an archaeologist, comedian, but very cool. So we're heading out now. Anyway, I'm gonna go. Look, I mean, I keep forgetting to say it. I meant to say it during the thing, but sign up to the Patreon, and I put extra stuff on there. So I've put up documentaries that I've made, interviews that I've done with other people in MMA and stuff that I did before, and I put up a very early days special thing that I've done. Anyway, there's loads of stuff on there, and it's a $5 or something. It's nothing, but if you feel like, grab me a coffee so I don't have to go to fucking Kingsland again, then sign up that. Otherwise, I'll chat to you next week. Bye.